Good day everyone. This video will present to you the well-known artist by the name Leonardo da Vinci. His life, works, and contribution to humanity and the world. This is Jevani R. Bardoquillo, narrator-presenter for the subject Arts Appreciation. Leonardo da Vinci, with the full name Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, was born on April 15, 1452 and died on May 2, 1519. He is known for Renaissance and Mona Lisa. Da Vinci was born a lefty and known by his contemporaries as Mancino, Italian slang for left-handed person. Lived from 1452 to 1519, his father and grandparents raised him. When he was 14 years old, he studied under a well-known artist of the time, Andrea del Verrocchio. He believes that learning never exhausts the mind. In his own time was known just as Leonardo or as Il Florentine, since he lived near Florence and was famed as an artist, inventor, and thinker. His father is an attorney and notary, and his peasant mother were never married to one another, and Leonardo was the only child they had together. Da Vinci's parents were not married. Beginning around age 5, he lived on the estate in Vinci that belonged to the family of his father. Ser Piero, an attorney and notary, Da Vinci's uncle who had a particular appreciation for nature that Da Vinci grew to share, also helped raise him. He received no formal education, but his father appreciated his artistic talent and apprenticed him to Verrocchio. For about a decade, Da Vinci refined his painting and sculpting techniques and trained in mechanical arts. At 20, he was offered Da Vinci membership, but remained with Verrocchio and became an independent master, and later began to paint his first commissioned work, The Adoration of the Magi. However, Da Vinci never completed that piece. Shortly thereafter, he relocated to Milan to work for Sforza clan as an engineer, painter, architect, designer of court festivals, and most notably a sculptor. The family asked Da Vinci to create a magnificent 16-foot tall equestrian statue in bronze to honor dynasty founder Francisco Sforza. Da Vinci's The Last Supper, painted during his time in Milan from about 1495 to 1498. A tempera and oil mural on plaster, created for the refectory of the city's monastery of Santa Maria del Grassi, also known as the Cenacle, with 15 by 29 feet, and is the artist's only surviving fresco. History of The Last Supper. The wall painting was commissioned by Lodovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan and Leonardo's patron during his first extended stay in that city. The Sforza coats of arms appear in the family's initials of the three lunettes above the mural. It depicts the Passover dinner during which Jesus addresses the apostles and says, "One of you shall betray me." One of the painting's stellar features is each apostle's distinct emotive expressions and body language. Its composition is in which Jesus is centered among yet isolated from the apostles, has influenced generations of painters. The hidden meaning of the Last Supper. In Da Vinci's version of this scene, not even Jesus is shown to have a halo around his head. Before Leonardo da Vinci, all versions of the Last Supper showed Jesus and his disciples with halos in effect, portraying them as saints, but Da Vinci chose to ignore this convention and paint them without halos. The painting, despite restoration efforts, remains fragile, so in an effort to slow its deterioration, visitors are allotted 15 minutes to view the mural in small groups. Although some of Leonardo's celebrated artistic qualities, luminous color, soft modeling, and stated spatial expression have been lost, viewers can still witness his skill in depicting a sequential narrative. His journey. When Milan was invaded by the French in 1499 and the Sforza family fled, Da Vinci escaped as well, possibly first to Venice and then to Florence. There, he painted a series of portraits that included La Gioconda, Mona Lisa, also called Portrait of Lisa Gerardini, wife of Francisco del Giocondo, Italian La Gioconda, or French La Joconde. Oil painting on a popular wood panel by Leonardo da Vinci, probably the world's most famous painting. Da Vinci began painting the Mona Lisa about 1503, and it was in his studio when he died in 1519. He likely worked on it intermittently over several years, adding multiple layers on thin oil glazes at different times. Small cracks in the paint, called craquelure, appear throughout the whole piece, but they are finer on the hands. The painting presents a woman in half-body portrait, which has a backdrop, a distant landscape, yet the simple description of a seemingly standard composition gives little sense of Leonardo's achievement. The three-quarter view, in which the sitter's position mostly turns toward the viewer, broke from a standard profile pose used in Italian art. The subject's softly sculptural face shows Leonardo's skillful handling of sfumato and reveals his understanding of the musculature and the skull beneath the skin. Leonardo studied observation and exhaustible patience and its exquisite synthesis of sitter and landscape. The Mona Lisa set the standard of all future portraits. There has been much speculation and debate regarding the identity of the portrait setter. Scholars and historians have posited numerous interpretations, including that she is Lisa del Giocondo, the wife of the Florentine merchant Francisco di Bartolomeo del Giocondo, hence the alternative title of the work, La Gioconda. What innovations did Da Vinci bring to the world of art? His ability to use innovative approaches when laying paint on it, his knowledge of anatomy, his innovative application of human figures in figurative compositions, and his use of sfumato in a composition. How did Leonardo da Vinci change the world of art? Often take pride in taking people's talents into the sciences or the arts. He developed an artist's eye that enabled him to look at things in a whole new way, a far more profound level of realism